Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, December 3, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. Also, check out our perks and join the High Stakes membership. Joining the High Stakes membership is easy, is cheap, but it will help a lot in the growth process of this channel. Plus, if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Purdue vs Michigan. When the season started, many eyed the Boilermakers as the Big Ten West favorite, though a mid-season lull left some questions. A 2-game losing streak, especially to rivals Iowa and Wisconsin, less than a month ago, had many off the idea that the Boilermakers could win the division completely. Their recent run of wins simply shows how fast the narrative can change, with their 3-game winning streak setting the tone for this team as they head into the weekend. Taking on Michigan, let alone competing with them, is a big ask of this program, though getting to play them at a neutral site is something that can make a huge difference while they look to spring the huge upset. Purdue will have their hands full on both sides of the ball in this one, and the running game will be what makes or breaks their upset bid. With the nation's 97th ranked ground game, they will need to find ways to control the clock against Michigan, and the longer that they can keep the Wolverines off the field, the better their chance at the upset. Considering Michigan's success running the ball, Purdue will need to lean heavily on their own front 7 to stop the run. If Aiden O'Connell, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, can find success through the air and take care of the ball, it could open up lanes for Devin Mokobe to continue to build on his recent run of success. Michigan has been one of the best stories in college football over the last few years, and after taking down Ohio State for the 2nd straight season, this year on the road, they are primed for a CFP berth. Even with a loss in this one, they're still likely to make the CFP, though a win would go a long way to helping this group keep their confidence and momentum going. Against teams from the Big Ten West, the Wolverines dominated this season, except for their game against Illinois just a few weeks ago. There's no doubt that Michigan is talented, though Purdue isn't a team that they can take lightly in this one. After seeing how they performed in last year's Big Ten title game, there doesn't expect to be a letdown after last week's rivalry win. To win in a blowout is asking a lot of any team in the conference title game, though this one is primed for the Wolverines to win with ease. Not only do the Wolverines have health and depth on their side, but they also have a ground game that can dictate the tempo at which one is played, while McCarthy showed his ability to find success through the air last week. The defensive side of things is where Michigan will shine, and Michigan's ability to stop the run and put Purdue in obvious passing situations will let them dictate the defensive side of things as well. Additionally, according to covers.com, Michigan is 4-1 at TS in the last 5 meetings between the two, and the favorite is 5-2 at TS in the last 7 meetings overall. Take Michigan, -17. Jim Harbaugh is very conservative when his team leads, and Michigan should be able to get out to control this game with their offensive line and running game. The Wolverines have no incentive to run up the score. They will get into the college football playoffs if they win this game. Michigan will likely focus on running the ball and shortening the game if they build an early lead, as is likely. Purdue's offense has been solid this year, but the Boilermakers have still struggled against better defenses at times, such as Wisconsin and Iowa. Michigan's defense should be able to limit Purdue's offense here. Take under 52 points. Clemson vs North Carolina. Clemson entered the year with college football playoff aspirations, as is always the case under head coach Dabo Swinney. The Tigers lived up to expectations in the early going, winning each of their first 8 games. They knocked off 3 ranked opponents during that stretch, beating Wake Forest, North Carolina State and Syracuse. Their perfect season came to an end in a loss to Notre Dame in early November, which looked like it might knock them out of the CFP race. They were able to get back in the hunt with a pair of wins over Louisville and Miami, along with some favorable results around the country. However, their hopes were officially dashed last week as South Carolina sprung a big upset for the second game in a row, beating Clemson in a 31-30 final. The Tigers had rattled off 40 consecutive wins at home prior to that loss, as quarterback DJ Uiagalelei completed just 8 of 29 passes and threw an interception for the 5th game in a row. He has been benched in favor of freshman Cade Klubnik in 2 of those games, and he will likely be on a short leash this week. Uiagalelei still has solid numbers overall this season, throwing for 2,505 yards, 22 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Running back Will Shipley has racked up 1,092 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns, averaging 5.9 yards per carry. The Tar Heels enter Saturday's championship game with a record of 8-3. They have lost back-to-back games as they face Clemson in the biggest game of the year. North Carolina lost games to Georgia State and their rival North Carolina State in their latest game. The Wolfpack got the best of the Tar Heels by a final score of 30-27 in overtime. Trailing by a touchdown on the final possession, North Carolina pushed the ball into the red zone. On the final play of the possession, the Tar Heels quarterback Drake May found Antoine Green for a 4-yard touchdown pass to tie the game at 24-all. In the first overtime, both teams went 6 plays on offense before being stopped. They were both forced to nail a field goal, which they did. In the second overtime, North Carolina State nailed a field goal to give them the lead. North Carolina needed to respond, but they missed a 35-yard field goal to give the Wolfpack the rivalry win. North Carolina gained 351 yards of total offense opposed to North Carolina State's 330 yards. Each team had 1 turnover as the 2 teams were very similar on the stat sheet. North Carolina's quarterback Drake May finished 29 for 49 and 233 yards. He added a touchdown and an interception. Running back Elijah Green rushed for 83 yards on 24 carries. He added his own touchdown for the Tar Heels. North Carolina is not going to be feeling great about itself heading into this game either, as it had a disappointing finish to the regular season. The Tar Heels won 9 of their first 10 games, with their lone loss also coming to Notre Dame. They had responded to that setback with a 6-game winning streak before losing to Georgia Tech and North Carolina State in their last 2 games. Their loss to the Yellow Jackets was an absolute stunner, as they were 21.5-point favorites in that contest. They were 6.5-point favorites last week, but North Carolina State pulled off the upset in double overtime. There is no debating who the better team is in this contest, but there is certainly a debate to be had about which team has more motivation right now. Clemson entered the year with college football playoff aspirations, while North Carolina simply wanted to take a promising step forward with a young quarterback. The Tigers were not able to achieve their goal, but May has been outstanding for most of the season for the Tar Heels. He gives them a chance to win any game that they play in, and he is certainly going to be motivated for his first conference title game. This game has become routine for Clemson, and it's going to be tough for the Tigers to win with a large margin after having its EFP hopes dashed last week. Take North Carolina plus 7.5 points. The offense for North Carolina will be able to move the ball against Clemson's defense. But Clemson's poor offense versus North Carolina's poor offense will bring the total down. Yes, Clemson has a solid rushing attack that will only take precious time off of the clock. The under is 4-1 in the Tigers' last 5 neutral site games. Take the under 63.5 points on Saturday.